Close to my way.
What's up? It has been a while since Dietyeradio had started, but we are back and now we have our lovely co-host, well, our main host, Z.
You just gonna throw me out like that? That's crazy.
It's been a while since the people have seen you, sir.
I
It's been.
mean, yeah, okay, yeah. Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure they missed you. I'm pretty sure they did. But
Yes,
we're back, and I'm so glad to be back. But yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram at Mocha Badu. Where can they find you, Z?
it's at the bottom now, but at ZHU, underscore. How you fast? God damn.
Yep. All of our information is going to be down in the description below. You can follow us on Instagram at Dietyeradio and get in touch with all our new content on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. We do
Mm-hmm.
have TikTok, and we will start posting on there as well soon, hopefully. But how are you doing today, Z?
How am I doing? I mean, I'm alive. That's as much as I can say.
It's tourist season. You just alive. You just living. That's okay.
Again,
I'm alive and I'm living too.
I'm alive. That's as much as I can say, man. I'm alive.
Hmm.
Birthday tomorrow and all that. I'm alive.
But yeah. So we're gonna get into some philosophical questions today, and they're gonna be mostly about just what's the purpose of life.
Mocha got a problem with life right now, and I don't know what's up with her. Where she just like talking
I
all
don't
this
have a
crazy
problem.
shit,
I'm
but
just
she
curious.
nah, you got a problem, fam. I don't know what's
Like
up with you. You
I'm
talking a
just
little crazy.
I'm just curious. Like, why can't I have like a philosophical question about what's the purpose of life? Why do we live and then why do we die? Like, who would not ask that question?
I ain't say you couldn't ask. You just way in limbo asking that. Although I'm in limbo, I'd rather be in limbo. Okay.
I mean, yeah, because like I don't know. It's just like I'm for the rules and I understand the rules, but at the same time, following the rules for an eternity, that's a lot. That's a lot to ask a person, and I'm human.
Really not. It's really not. You follow rules every day as a citizen of the United States of America, do you not?
Yes, and most of the time we do break the rules on
Not
small,
all the time. You might break one or two. You ain't breaking all of them.
but we have to follow the rules to a T, sir.
Not
For
necessarily. You just
you,
gotta know the system.
you can't just slip. This is an eternity
I say
following,
you ain't slip. I just say you gotta know the system. You know how to beat the system.
and you don't think you're gonna get caught?
Not all the time. Everybody don't get caught.
We talk about heaven, sir.
I mean, that's heaven. We're not talking that. That's different. Of course, you gotta abide by heaven rules if you're gonna go to heaven. But you're saying it as if abiding by rules is the problem, but yet you would rather be an eternity of bulls of crap. And so I'm like, gotta. It's a weird trade, but okay.
It's not a. It's an eternity of crap, but you have free will. Regardless of anything, you have free will. But it's not like, yes, you do get penalized, but it's never to the extent of you'll be penalized for an eternity and you can never redeem yourself, kind of thing. Here,
Mm-hmm.
you can redeem yourself as many times as you want until you die, at least. Well, I guess that's not too many.
Yeah, you say that. What?
But I don't know. I don't think not everything is what it always seems to be or sounds like. And that's one of the things that I've learned in my own experience. So that's why I'm kind of like a little standoffish.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, you're using real life experience of the world. That's what I'm saying. You can't use the world and say, okay, well, that conflates with how heaven's going to be, or how heaven or hell. This, if anything, this is more of hell than heaven. Like, so it's a mix of both worlds.
I don't disagree with you on there.
Redemption, yes, yes, Kareem, redemption. Hey, Kareem, how you doing, buddy? It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been a minute. I know. Don't act like you don't see me, cut. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just I don't know, man. Like I said, the way how you talking is like you're pick. Like I said, you want to have best of both worlds, and there's no such thing as that. Like you're never gonna get that nowhere, no matter what it is on this earth and another dimension, anything. Like there's no way of getting best of both worlds where you can have eternity of just having fun, and then also you having fun doesn't get you in no type of consequences. Like there's good fun and then there's bad fun. You know what I'm saying?
No, no, I definitely understand the reason of consequences. I I guess I am in limbo. I want the consequences. I need consequences. I don't want to forever be in a world of just consistently peace, because then I don't think I would understand the value of the peace that I have after a long period of time. Because keep in mind, an eternity of peace is a long ass time. Eventually, in my human understanding, we would see it as not valuable anymore after a period of time.
Okay, that's up to you to see that like that. If you think peace was not valuable and you don't see it at the value of the time of peace, it's hard to say that as a human when there's never been an area where it's been completely peaceful.
That is very true.
So that's what I'm saying. Like you're using the human side of it, but it's like okay, humans haven't been peaceful either. So how would you abide? Like that's what I'm saying. When you go to that type of level of heaven, it would be forever peace. So it's not someone trying to take over you or trying to compete with you about whoever this and the third. But that way of thinking is the same way of thinking that created Satan and how Satan became a thing, or how he became a yeah, like he became a thing. That's how he became a thing.
Hmm.
Because he thought the same thing. Well, I want to learn everything, and I want to be able to make charge and to make decisions and stuff. He wanted to be God. That's why I said earlier, like sometimes you're it's above your pay grade. That's not something for you to know all the time. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm. And what he's referencing is, I desire to know like the entire truth of the universe.
It wasn't even just learning the truth. It was more of a, which I'm not saying he wasn't wrong. Because I know, like, if you watch, it's a TV show with Lucifer called Lucifer and all that, where they kind of like give you that, Lucifer having that argument with God and all that, and trying to get good, even though he's bad, but he's still, he's still a good angel at the same time. And it's like, I mean, you can see where they're coming from with that, where it's like it's always going to be a competition. I'm sorry, I think a dread hit me in my eye. But there's always going to be some type of competition of that. But at the end of the day, that's part of when they try to put it like that. Like you gotta understand, it's like it makes people think. I'm not saying it's not wrong to think, but I think it makes people think the wrong thing, as if like you can have a argument about certain things with God. Like there's moments where he'll sit down. Like I feel like even with me personally, I feel like there's moments where he sits down and talks to you about certain situations where you can have a conversation. But to sit here and be like, I'm finna argue with God, I'm finna go toe to toe and feel like I can be a God with him. That's a little crazy.
No, I understand that I never will be able to do that. I logically know like my place. It's just like I want to understand the things that he understands. Granted, I won't understand everything, but at least he taught me those things and showed me those things. So that
He'll
way,
do that. That's not the problem. He'll do that. He'll show you, but there's only certain things you're supposed to be showed. Same thing as your parents. There's certain things that they allowed you to see at a certain age. They didn't
hmm
just, as soon as you got there and first, I want to learn it. Of course, you 4 or 5 years old, you want to learn everything that's around you. Of course, that's not for you. That's why I said that same way of thinking is why a lot of people be in the situation they are, where they got 4 or 5 year old kids cursing and talking as if they was 30.
Mm-hmm.
And you just like, this is a 4-year-old, like this is a 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Like, where did they get this from? Well, my child should be able to learn and speak everything they want to do. Okay, well, that's why your child at 14, 15 years old is cussing out grown adults and thinking that stuff is cool. So now when they get mad and treat her like an adult, now all of a sudden it's, oh, this is my child, I should be able to do freely in this and the third. No, there's consequences to everything. So it's like, that's why I said that same way of thinking is what made that conflict happened. And even when he came down to Eve and Adam with the apple, like that's what made their thinking go that way. Because now all of a sudden it was like, oh, I see everything that you're doing, X, Y, and Z. I see everything. Like I got questions. This is what, this is this, this is that. All right, bet. Like to the point where he realized, okay, you know too much now. To the point where I can't help you because now you're trying to compete with me about what I've done for you as if there's even a competition on it. That's what I'm saying. Like you got to kind of that way of thinking of it would just make you. It make you. That's the type of thinking that would make you not value it because now you're trying to question. Well, where did it come from? How did it do this and the third? And sometimes you just have to accept it. There's been several times where I've been through stuff where it's something good happened out of nowhere, and I was just like, wow, all right, thank you God. Like I'm not even finna say it and ask where it came from. Thank God. There's sometimes where I've had some bad things where I had to say, okay, well, thank God.
Mm. I don't know. I guess it's that human fear of the unknown. I want to understand so I can be prepared or just be like, okay, I can accept this because I had to go through this so I can learn from it.
Well, you didn't. They didn't know 9/11 was gonna happen, but it happened.
Yeah.
They didn't know Gulf War was gonna happen, but it happened. They didn't know the Cold War was gonna happen, but it happened. So it's like you trying to prepare yourself for something that you don't know what's going to happen. The only way you can prepare yourself is by learning how to be as peaceful, learning how to be right in the eyes of if you want to say God. I don't know if you believe God or whatnot, but right in the eyes of God, and trying to be as strong as you possibly can in that type of setting.
Mm.
For
You're glitching.
just not doing that. Yeah. See me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you saying, sir?
I was just saying like that. That's just that way of thinking. Like I'm saying, you're using your human aspect of thinking as if God is a human and He's not a human. So your way of thinking has nothing to do with that, and that's what's
And
going
I
to put you in that position. That's what's
but
going to
it's
put
the
you in that
only way of
position to mess
that
up,
I have.
huh?
It's the only way of thinking that I have.
That's not your thinking. That's not for you. Again, that is above your pay grade.
Hmm.
So that's not for you to think on. If it was, it would be in your brain already. You would know. That's like you going to your job and you're asking your managers why aren't they telling you what's going on at the meeting at the manager meeting. You're not a manager. That's above your pay grade. You
Mm.
don't need to know. Well, I feel like I should know everything that's going on in here. For what? You just do the job that we gave you, that you came in and applied for. If we thought that you was on that type of level where you should know that, we would let you know. But now because you think as a human, where that's in my opinion, that's where it kind of stems from how everything went bad, where we got this sense of entitlement of thinking, okay, I can get what I want, I deserve, I should want to know what I want to know because I said so now. And it's like, no, that's not your pay grade. It's not for you to know. If it was for us to know, we would know already. At a point in time, we had it. We ruined that ourselves as humans.
Hmm. Of course.
So therefore, if we ruined that ourselves, why do we feel like we should get the right to know what's going on? We already ruined it. We had an opening, we had the door, we got kicked out.
Hmm.
The Garden of Eden, you can't find it. Nobody can find it. I think it's in the Bermuda Triangle, to be honest with you. Nobody can find it.
It would make sense.
It's what they dare you.
I don't think it's entitlement. It's just curiosity. But that's the
It's entitlement to curiosity. You're feeling entitled to be curious about something that it's not for you to be curious about. That's like, again, that's like a child asking their parents about the bills at the house, and they're not working. They don't pay bills. Why are you asking questions that have nothing to do with you? I can tell you about it if when you're at that age to where I can teach you and you can learn it. But right now, this is it. You asking questions right now is what's going to get you where you need to be at right now. Right now, I just need you to sit down and let me take care of it. And then once I take care of it, and then you get to a point where you can learn about it, okay, I can teach you it now. But in
hmm
order to learn that, you have to first, again, be able to be obedient to what it is of being whatever, again, whatever traditions or religions you leave. But if we talk about God, of being obedient to God, what He's asking for, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't. There's no like. It's not how you can do in a relationship now these days where y'all can go. People pick and choose which parts of what they want to do in the relationship. No, this is one of them relationships with God, or if, with God, especially, or when you even when you find with God, because we're talking about, but where you have to abide by what He got going on. There's no if, ands, or buts. There's no, well, can we compromise on this? No. If we're compromising, then you just need to go. That's what I'm saying. Like that way of thinking is like I'm not saying you wrong for thinking that because a lot of people thought that. I thought that too, but then I realized after a while, it's not for me to think. I had to talk to a lot of religious people and a lot of different pastors from different type of religions to realize that a lot of the foundations are still somewhat the same to where it's like, okay, they all understand exactly what it is. They might have their own different ways of how they want to do it, but the foundation of it is still the same of it, where it's okay, obedience to God. Point blank period. There's
hmm
no ifs, ands, or buts about being obedient.
So when they have like their different ways of doing things, is that not wrong, or is it
They have
considered?
different ways as to when I mean different ways, I mean like they have different things that they believe in stronger, as in baptism. Like there's people who believe in the Baptist church where they believe baptism is very serious to them, where they, if you want to be saved, you have to be baptized because Jesus was baptized. Catholicism might believe in something else. Judaism don't believe Jesus was the savior. You feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Islam believe it was Elijah, not Elijah, I was finna say Elijah Muhammad, but Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they all have different beliefs, but again, they all have the same foundation. Now, if they all was to, like come together to where it's like, okay, like I said, they keep that foundation and that foundation becomes strong to the point where it's okay, this is the end all be all, then it would be that. Which that's what the Bible tells you. God's gonna come back again to well, not God, but Jesus is gonna come back. He's supposed to come back twice. First time he's gonna come back is to reiterate the old covenant, which was the passing the lamb. You know how they used to put, if you remember the Bible in the Old Testament, for Egypt, they had to put the lamb blood over the house and Passover and all that. He's gonna
Mm-hmm.
bring that back over to where people understand what it means again. Then he'll leave and then
Mm-hmm.
come back again just to see if people really took it seriously and actually wanted to be a part of it. So then when he comes back that second time, that's when he's coming to judge. Where people who abided and was obedient to his rules are the ones he's gonna call up to go to eternity of joy and peace. Versus everybody else will be left here and left to die.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. And at the end of the day, the foundation is to obey God with no questions asked.
Say again?
I said the basis of the foundation is to obey God with no questions asked.
I mean, it's nothing. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with asking questions. You can always ask questions. It's whether or not are you willing to take the answer that he gives you. So it's being obedient to whatever answer he gives you. Like, can you just take that? And a lot of people, like you, same thing you just said, where I don't know if I can take that, and it's like, well, that's the problem. You want things to go your way of what you think of, but then when all of a sudden it's time for you to sit down and, like I said, to be obedient to something else that's other than what you think it is, a lot of people can't do it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, well, a lot of people aren't going to go. And it says that in the Bible too. A lot of people will not make it.
Yeah.
This I forgot which one it was. 7 Day Adventists. They believe that's only gonna be like 100,000 certain people gonna go. They got a certain number.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they still all have the same foundations. They just took certain parts of it and they just made that like that's the ones that they push heavily. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In their own denomination. But they all have the same foundation. You know, to most of it has the same foundation. Don't pause on me like this. I know you thinking, but
I'm sorry. It I am thinking, and I understand what you're saying, and I accept what you're saying.
but can you do it? That's the question.
I don't think I'm at the age where I can, because I have lost. I'm going to be honest. I lost sight in the foundation of it all. Like, I get it. Obeying God with no with without hesitation, that's easy. That's not hard to do. Yes, I'm going to have questions. Yes, I'm going to ask why. And most of the time, I will understand the why. And sometimes I won't understand the why at all. But I do know that when things happen, I just have to accept it because it's out of my hands. And that's something that I've learned to do over time. I've learned to accept that it's happened. I've learned to not live in the past and to dwell on it because it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still pain.
Nothing wrong with pain. It's about you learning how to get over the pain. That's what's gonna put you in the. That's the peace. That's the peace and joy. Learning how to get over pain. You're a human. You're put on this earth. The moment that we messed up on this earth, you were going to deal with pain.
Hmm.
It's part of the. It's part of the equation.
That is true, and I acknowledge that. And
So why is it that your pain is worse than everybody else's?
I'm not saying my pain's worse than anyone else's. That's not at all what I'm saying.
So if everyone else is dealing with pain just as much as you, shouldn't you do what you got to do to make sure your pain is not controlling you?
Yes,
Because
and
what it sounds like to me, it sounds like you're saying your pain is controlling you, and your trauma. I hate that word. It's trauma crap. Where your trauma is controlling you, and that's not peace. That's why I said this little limbo stuff is really just you still dealing with your own human thoughts and human feelings, and that's
well,
not
I did
what this
say
is.
that I'm not at the age where I can actively do it. So
What do you
I
mean?
know that I'm working on learning to deal with pain. I'm working on it. But I also am aware that there are some pains that I can't process or work with.
What do you mean?
Um,
See how you don't even know?
no, I do. I just don't know if I want to be vulnerable with that part.
It's up to you. Unless you don't want to say it on here, you don't have to.
Yeah, I'll probably not say it on here.
It's
But
okay.
um I I know what I have to do. It's just
Let me guess, hard,
it is hard.
just
I
like
know
everybody else, Moga.
I know. I know. I know I'm no different than anyone else.
Don't hit me with it, but you gonna say but. Here go the
No,
but. Go ahead. No, you gonna say it. Go ahead. But
there's no but. I'm no different than anyone else. I'm just learning.
however, go ahead. I know it's coming.
I just said it. I'm still learning.
Okay, just like everybody else.
Exactly.
So
And
therefore, you still have to deal with it just like everybody else.
and
There's,
I'm
that's what I'm saying. Like
that's
this
where I can.
notion that you just supposed to. Oh well, I'm dealing with something, so like everyone should give me the sympathy and empathy. I'm sorry,
No,
like
I
the world's not gonna do that. They're not gonna give you empathy or about what's going on. Not a lot of people, because for you more than me, to be honest with you. But
no,
yeah,
you're
huh?
very right. I said you're right on that.
Yeah, you more than me, or you as a female more than me as a male will get more empathy on stuff in situations like that. But eventually, they will not care. So if they're
And
not
then
caring about what you got going on, that means you need to take care of it for yourself.
exactly, and I'm doing that. I'm just learning, and I'm taking the steps that I need to take, so I don't have to feel that pain anymore.
I mean, pain is pain. You're always gonna feel pain. Pain is
I,
up to you how much
I
you
will
want to
always
do.
complain, but it won't impact me. That's what I want to say.
Pain will always impact you to a certain degree. It don't mean it may not impact you to the point where it's gonna make you want to kill yourself sometimes, but there's sometimes where pain
What
is bad.
I mean is, it won't influence my decision making.
That's better.
Yes, that's what I wanted
I
to
mean,
say.
that's hard to people do it. I don't try to do it all the time, but it does happen where sometimes people things go around, things happen where my emotions just get the best of me. And I have to. That's me. The way of learning it is acknowledging it. That's the best way you can learn how to do it. It's acknowledging your issues. When they happen, acknowledge them instead of trying to do what most people do, is do what you just did, which I'm still learning and but you're probably still doing the same things that you're saying you're learning from. So it's not really learning it if you don't acknowledge it first and say, okay, no, this is where I'm wrong at. Now I can address exactly where I'm wrong at to where I can fix it. Versus
Hmm.
just, I'm just trying to fix everything. Well, fix what? You don't even know exactly what the issue is and where your issue is necessarily. That's what I'm saying. Okay, where you got to be more specific of acknowledging where you messing up at. And then, okay, now that I'm specific and acknowledging where I'm messing up at, how do I address this? How do I fix this? Does it take time? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. But it's part of the game. That's how you get through life. That's why I said this is a prison. You are in prison. Prison is supposed to rehab you. You are in you learn things you're doing
You're saying again.
out here.
We got you now. We got you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like
this
you
is
were
like I said, this
saying,
is
yes,
rehab. So
re- redeem you.
say again.
I was just repeating what you were saying since you were glitching in and out. You were saying that it's a prison, and a prison is meant to redeem you from your past sins or sins at all in general.
You know, most people go to prison and don't learn from it. There's some people that
That
go to
is
prison
very
don't learn from it. What happens? They go right back to prison or they die. They have to deal with a whole new different situation. This situation is different. You don't get to die. And even when you die, that's just meaning you're done here, and now it's time for you to take into your judgment of what you've done. And some people, that's why I say I really believe people do get reincarnated until you figure out what you need to do
mm-hmm.
and what it is that your issue is. That's why I said for me personally, I think I've been here before because it's too much stuff that I'm like, all right, I kind of got already. It's like, how the hell do I know that? And
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. Well, that's weird, but at the same time, I think a lot of people are not as logical thinking no more. They're emotional thinking, which is kind of what you was on today. Emotional thinking.
I won't deny it was very emotional.
You won't blame me. It happens. But that's just part again. That's you have to separate that. Whereas your feelings are not now necessarily always reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not always reality, sometimes you have to step out of that and say, wait a minute, I'm tripping. Let me look at the situation of what it is. All right, I see it for what it is now. Let me treat it like that.
You're right.
Mhm.
I think that's one of my challenges that I have to actually overcome because actively identifying when I'm getting to the point of being emotional is very difficult for me.
What you mean?
It's difficult for me to actively analyze when I'm emotional.
I mean, you just got to catch it.
That's true.
That's all. You just have to catch it. Hey, I'm being emotional right now. Let me stop. You know? I said it's part of the game. People do that where things just go left.
Sorry, eyelash got in my eye.
You're fine.
But how do I balance that? I'm thinking of actively acknowledging that you feel these emotions and actively expressing them. But how do you express them in the moment when you have to be logical?
I mean, if me personally, if you want me to tell you my personal, if I'm too emotional to where I cannot articulate, then I don't need to be talking right now. Why would I
Hmm.
try to articulate what I'm already emotional? When nothing, the things that I'm trying to say are not going to come out correctly. I would wait till I'm calm to where I can say what I need to say and I can articulate it.
Hmm.
So that would be the best way to do it. No one's telling you to do it while you're emotional. That's crazy. Now, are there
Okay.
times when you do it, and then there's moments where it happens where you're just emotional and it comes out? Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. Where speaking about your emotions is nothing wrong with speaking about your emotions. It's about articulating it and being able to articulate it.
Hmm.
That's one thing I feel like when I hear people talk about relationships, I think women kind of like try to degrade men on to say, yeah, they don't emotional intelligence. And I'm like, well, that just sounds like emotional articulation, as in you want someone to be able to articulate what their feelings are. And for the most part, men have never had a problem with speaking their mind about what was going on. The problem was we got tired of arguing about how our feelings made you feel. If I told you something and it hurt your feelings, now I got to stop telling you how my feelings are hurt to console your feelings. So men
Right.
just stop talking.
And unfortunately, that has happened to an
Yeah.
extent. What was the word that I wanted to use?
So just part of the game. That's why I said like it's just really being able to articulate it. But in order to articulate it, you have to be in a calm mode to articulate it. You can still be upset and still be calm enough to okay, I'm gonna say what I need to say and let you know I'm upset. But at least I
Mm.
said it to where you know I'm upset versus me just losing my mind and this and the third. You're gonna know I'm upset, but you're gonna think I'm a lunatic because I'm doing everything in the book, just trying to make you see what my feelings are versus me being articulating it and speaking my mind and being peaceful about it to what not even just being peaceful, but being direct about it where you know where I'm coming from. All different bargaining.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, man. I swear to God, I'm gonna charge people for this shit. I'm so tired. I'm giving everybody just life while I'm charging. I'm gonna charge the fuck out of people.
I do apologize for that, sir.
It's not your fault. I'm just saying in general. In general period.
I
I see
understand.
why therapists be trying to do this shit. I need that $5,000 for a session.
Yes, you do.
It's too much school. I ain't trying to do all that.
Yeah, it's a lot of school, but it would be beneficial and it would put money in your pocket.
I can what?
It would put money in your pocket.
It would, but still have to be a good therapist. Still actually have to find a place that therapy or a clinic or office that allows you to come work there. Still got to learn, earn your tenure, all that extra stuff. So it's
Or
money.
you
It's money
could,
down the line. It's money that you get down the line.
yeah, but you could just do it at your own home or do Zoom calls.
You gotta come to my house. You talking about
You don't
therapy?
have to. You can text people or Zoom call them.
Even that, I mean, even doing that, it still takes time, tenure, all that. They're not just gonna randomly call a random. I mean, you could try that, but most time therapists are already, excuse me, already have their own practice, or they're working for somebody else. And usually, when you have your own practice, that's not until like you're like 40, because it
Mm,
costs a lot of money.
that's true. But everything in this world costs a lot of money, especially nowadays since we are in a recession.
Hey, it'd be like that. It'd be like that, unfortunately. But it
But
takes
there's no
time.
use growth.
It takes time. It takes a lot of time, and I don't have the patience for it. That's why I didn't finish school when I went to school. I don't have the patience for it. I just want to get my shit and go. That's why even when I go out, I go work out, I go to the gym or anything like that, bro. I don't be in the gym for long. I might be in there. The most I might be if I'm not playing basketball, maybe an hour. Because I'm not finna be one of the people that I want to lift weights and then let me go, like, let me go do this. Let me go do, nah, bro. I like to lift and call it a day. And I lift multiple things. I do different things and call it a day. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm out of there. 45 minutes to an hour.
Mm. I think that's everyone needs to learn some patience, but we have patience for certain things. Me, I'll have patience enough to sit and binge watch anime all day,
Okay.
but I
But
don't
that's
have.
not something that's benefiting you necessarily.
It's really not. But the point is, I'll have things that don't. I'll have patience for things that don't benefit me rather than for myself.
Say that. I'm not saying it wouldn't be therapy wouldn't or me being a therapist wouldn't benefit me, but it's just I'm not in that position. It's not something I want to do. So that's
No.
why I'm saying like the time and all that just wouldn't be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you like I said, you do all that. You still have to get your tenure. Excuse me, by the way. You still have to get your tenure and all that, everything like that, to where you can be legitimized as a prime example. You remember the girl from TikTok that said all that crap about men and how men were so crappy and this and the third, the
Yeah.
therapist. Now she lost her job and now she just don't know what to do. She's just a TikTok therapist now, just doing crazy crap on TikTok.
Yep.
And people just looking at her like, yeah, you deserved what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. But look what you're doing. Still doing it. And I don't even think she found another place to work at. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I don't think she did.
I'm pretty sure she can't because um I think they revoked her license.
I don't know.
I'll
I
look
know she
into.
lost her job. I know
Do
that.
not
They
quote
took her
us on
license.
this. We know for certain she lost her job, but we don't know if
I don't think
she.
she lost her license. Like they can't take your license for having your own opinion necessarily. It's just when you just can't be like I said. They just took her job because she let it be known that she was her thinking. She let that's not what you're supposed to do and that's probably another reason why I can't be a therapist necessarily because I'm not supposed to tell you. I'm supposed to tell you what's supposed to help you out. I'm not supposed to tell you my personal opinion about what you're doing and what you got going on.
But realistically, you don't share you share your opinions. However,
They're not sharing opinions.
in
They're
a
sharing you
sense,
more of a. They're sharing you more of a what their doctor thinking. Like it's not. This is my opinion based off me being a doctor and being a therapist for this long. That's what they're doing. Versus what she did was just I'm giving you my opinion. Period about you niggas and about men.
no, I get her perspective. She was definitely giving her opinion. I'm talking about you being a therapist. If you were ever to become one, I think you would consider the person's feelings, but you would also give them the truth of the matter and their reality.
I mean, therapy's not meant for that. That's the problem. Therapy is meant for you to just tell your feelings, sit there, and they might help you a little bit, but for the most part, it's just you talking and getting it out. Psychology, I think psychiatrists or psychologists would be different. Not psychiatrists, psychologists, where they can at least tell you what's going on in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and they have no problem telling you to the point where it's like, hey, bro, this is what's going on. This is what's going on. Like if I had a person like, I think I think Jordan Peterson's a therapist or a psychologist. I think he's both of them, one or the other. If I had someone like Jordan Peterson to tell me, okay, fam, you doing X, Y, and Z wrong, or someone who was just that direct with it, where it's like, okay, you're entitled to what you want to do, but you realize what you're doing is this is what's gonna happen, right? Like that, that's
Yeah,
different. There's a movie. There's even a TV show now on Apple TV called Shrink, where they're literally it's about that. It's a therapist that finally decided that he lost his wife and he got his child that lives with him and stuff like that as a teenager, and he's going through life trying to figure it out. And then he finally realized, or he decided that in his therapy sessions that he was working as a therapist, he wanted to help people out by actually, instead of just sitting here talking to you about your feelings, let's get up and do something about what you got going on. And he would take them out and this and the third. And even the person who, the practice that he was working for, the person who earned the practice was like, you know, this is something that can get you fired, right? Like this can get you in trouble. You're not supposed to do this as a therapist. You're supposed to just sit here and let them tell you what their issue is. You tell them, oh yeah, you know, this and the third, this and the third, where it's you're supposed to almost, in my opinion, it's almost like coddling. Like you're coddling this person. Let me give you a couple of back rubs and this and the third to make sure you straight. In reality,
I feel like that's more of therapy. Therapy, you get to talk to your therapist and just explain what's going on. And they'll say, oh, well, that sucks. Or, like, tell me more. How did that make you feel? I think with certain things, I think therapy is helping me actively decipher my emotions because I tend to, like, shut down when I feel way too many emotions, when my emotions get too strong. And when I do that, when I shut down, it's just, I try not to feel anything. Are you still active?
mm-hmm.
Yes, you're okay. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. I thought you froze for a second there.
You good? Yeah. Somebody just did something funny. That's why I was looking. I had to look at my phone. I'm sorry. Say what you're
Yeah.
saying again. I'm sorry.
I was saying that I think therapy is helping me actively decipher my emotions because when I was, for a long time, I would shut down and not try to feel my emotions whenever there was conflict.
So therapy is supposed to put. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but the therapy is supposed to be the one that's supposed to. Therapy is where you're supposed to figure out your emotions for yourself, where they kind of let you sit there and figure it out on your own. And then psychology is, to me, is where they kind of tell you what's going on. Like, hey fam, you messing up here.
And that's probably what I would need a little bit.
Hmm?
With, I think I would need the other one. I can't remember what you said, but I'm pretty sure I
Psychologist.
probably, yep, that one. The only reason why is because I have a problem of overthinking future problems. I'm not there yet, and I know I'm not, but I know that in the future I have to deal with that problem.
I feel that.
Like, for instance, in my 30s, I need to have like a house and I have to have at least five figures. I could pay for that or have like financial stability and be like on my way of growing generational wealth. But in order to do that, I have to start now. That's what's going on in my head. I'm putting it in my head. I'm telling myself that I need to start now so that way I can get to that point. Because if I,
You said generational wealth. Generational wealth for who?
you said for who?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
For my sister.
Okay. So not your kids.
Not planning on having any.
I mean, that's your duty as a person on this earth. Okay. Yeah. Teach his own. Everybody's right.
But
That's great.
I plan to like
I mean, you
set.
say. I'm gonna be honest with you. You say that now at what? You just turned 23.
I'm turning 22 in
Okay. Well. Okay. Well, you're saying this now at 22 because the oyster's your world right now. I mean, the world is your oyster right now. So you can do whatever you got. You can have anybody do X, Y, and Z. You can do whatever X, Y, and Z. But by the time you turn about 25, 26, that will change to where you out of nowhere. Okay, I think I do want kids, and I think I'm ready to do all that.
Okay,
By
but I
that time, you just got to
that
make
if
sure.
I
Hopefully,
don't
by that
have
time,
the,
you just good. This is where you can do it. Say again, now.
I said I can't do that if I don't have the things that I need.
Well, that's up for you to do that. And understand what things you need is what you talking about the house and the five figures. I mean, you can get a house. You can get a house by finding you a husband, and getting married, and getting a house together. You can get five figures by you and your husband putting your money together and be
Yeah,
worth five figures or six figures or seven figures. Like, that's what I'm saying. A lot of people, problem I see with a lot of people, especially in our generation, we think we can do so much stuff on our own that they don't realize like that takes a lot to the point where you will probably be on your own for majority of the rest of your life. And for most females, that's not what y'all want because you eventually you will want it where you want somebody around to, and not even just females, people in general, men too. Shannon Sharp had a conversation a couple weeks ago about it where I made all this money playing football and this that third. I had nobody to share it with, so I was lonely. I got all this money and I'm lonely. It's the same thing back. You're gonna have all that money and be lonely. So what would be the point? What would be a point? That's the and for men, that's what we are. Where we if we make bread, we trying to make bread where we can put other people, put our family on versus with like our kids and the wife and this and the third, where we can make sure our personal family is good. Versus with a lot of women, they just want to they want to make their money so they can be independent from it. I don't need a man. I can do X, Y, and Z, and it's like, all right, well then you go down the line and you realize things on your own. Like I said, things on your own is a way lot harder than when you have a partner.
and I understand that. But at this moment, I know that I'm not in a position to like be
That's
dating.
fine. You're 22. You're at 22. That's fine. You can say that. But like I said, 26, 27, 30, all that will change drastically.
And if it changes, I'm making sure that I'm taking steps so it can change,
Okay,
so I can be better.
that's fine. I mean, like I said, either way, you just to each his own. If you don't want kids, if you was to go down the line and say, "Yeah, I don't want kids," or I couldn't find nobody that I wanted to have kids with, it's fine. I think, and that's another thing. I think your reason why you're saying it, I think you're saying that is because you haven't found nobody that you necessarily thought of about having kids with. Like there was nobody that you was seriously dating or talking to necessarily that you was like, okay, I would have no problem having his children.
It that could be a factor among other
Yeah.
things.
Life and all that too. Yes, but I think that's a major thing for a lot of girls with it. They're just not with somebody right now that they can honestly say, I would have no problem having his kids. I would have no problem being his wife and having his children.
But again, I don't want to put all the pressure of financial income on my partner. I don't
I
think
mean,
that's
that's up to you, y'all situation of how y'all want to work it. But understand, men have no problem. That's our thing. We have no problem doing that.
I
We do
understand.
it because if we did it, it's because we love you. That's our way of showing our love. Is by us giving our time, our resources, and willing to die or kill about you. That
Hmm.
is our way of showing our love. So what would be the point? And that's the part that kind of makes men aggravated. Is because like y'all trying to negate that love from us. Okay, you want to pay a little bit of money, this and the third, cool. We have no problem with it. But it's like I said, it's when it comes to a point of saying, I don't need you. Like I can do X, Y, and Z. Well, then why am I here? What would be the
I
point of me dating you?
that I don't want all the burden to be on you. You can have some of the
You would
burden.
probably have the majority. You would probably still have the majority. Having some,
Most likely have the majority. Most likely.
so that you having some is fine. But again, that's you might as well just let him do 100% because he already doing majority. What's majority to you? Because what 70-30? That's what majority of women want to do. They want to pay at least 30%. They're not gonna pay 40 and 50. A lot of girls scream 50-50 and find out they're in relationships and they're only paying 20% of the situation, or 30%.
Hmm.
So then that's what I'm saying. Like, all right, that's fine, but then he's still paying the majority. So it's like, all right, cool. Either way, again, that depends on how you want to work your dynamic in relationships. But I mean, again, that's just what men want to do. The moment you find a man that don't want to support and provide or do anything for you, you're gonna look and be like, "The fuck is wrong with you? Why are you here?"
Mhm.
So that's what I mean. Where they kind of put that in y'all head to think that you can like outman a man, and don't think that. Sometimes just let the man be a man and let him do what he need to do. That way you can do what you need to do and get what you want out of the situation. But you'll never get it trying to outman that dude.
Mhm. And I understand that. And I don't think I could ever outman a man. I know what I'm capable of, but I also know like there will be times where I have to stand on my own 2 feet. Cause
When you have a partner,
if,
when you have to stand on your own 2 feet, when you have a partner, when
in cases where you are sick or injured, that's the only situation.
then that's your partner helping you out when you're sick or injured.
Yeah, and I
And vice
understand.
versa. That doesn't mean that you're that's part of being in a relationship where y'all help each other out. But that doesn't mean even him getting sick or injured, like you won't do it for long. I'll say that. It won't
No,
be for long.
I know that, and I'm understanding, but I need to make sure that all the affairs are in order so that it's not like a extreme gap of delay. Like, for instance, it would be months before I have to go back to work because I've been a single home parent. I mean, not a single home parent, like a stay at home parent
For who?
for like 10 years.
For come on, you as the female?
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't be necessarily hard. You just don't have any experience to go find. You would have to, the only way it'd be hard is because you would have to literally do the same thing as 18, 19, and 20-year-olds
Mm.
that don't have any experience. And that's what you kind of, if you was to live in that type of lifestyle, that's what it would be. But that's not an issue necessarily because
It's not,
that, again, there's no burner performance on you how much money you make. As in, the man's not going to say him like, I don't want to date you because you don't have no money.
I get that.
I get that, but
I'm talking about in an instance where someone's severely injured, where I gotta pay like medication and make sure everything's like still
well,
to.
he probably would have his own Medicaid and his own insurance. You'll probably be on his insurance to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure.
So then that's what I'm saying. You're overthinking it about stuff that has nothing to. If it was to happen, then it would be taken care of when it happened. You would have to
Hmm.
trust the fact that you and your partner are good. Yeah, I can do what I need to do. But that's what I'm saying. You're already thinking as if he was going, if it goes bad, it's going to go all the way bad. That's how it goes bad because you're already psyching yourself out before it even happens.
Not to psych myself out. It's just I want to be prepared. I'm not gonna leave or be like call it quits. I'm just like, okay, we need to have these discussions before this happens.
I mean, you never know when someone gets sick or injured. That's a hard conversation to have. To be like,
I
okay, what happens if you get sick or injured? What we gonna do? Well, I mean, if I get sick or injured, we're just gonna have to figure it out. 'Cause it's hard. Like you never know when it's gonna happen.
and I get that, but there are things that you can do to like make sure all the affairs are in order.
Both of you get paid. If both of you are working and making money, or if he's making money, either way, put money to the side. If it happens, it happens. Again, you have Medicaid, if you have life insurance, health insurance, whatever, they help you pay for stuff. So it's not
Mhm.
like you paying a whole bunch of money to do whatever you need to do. That's a point of having a partner. A partner is supposed to help you.
And I get that.
So you getting saying, okay, I'm gonna get what somebody gets sick or get injured, this and the third, like it happens. Yes, it just happens when people get sick and injured, but that's the point of it. But we are a team, so therefore, if something happens with me as your teammate, then you're supposed to be here to take up the slack. Just like if something happened to you as my teammate, I'm supposed to take up the slack
Right.
until you can get back on your feet.
Hmm.
But then even when you think about it, like let's be real, if he was to get sick and get S in the third, that's why I say you wouldn't be able to do it for long because you are only paying 20-30%. So now all of a sudden your 20-30% to turn to 100%, and you're gonna after a while be aggravated about it. There's some girls who can do it that have no problem, or some women who can do it and like, yeah, I want to be with my man. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to be with my man. But that's because they have complete trust in the fact that this is the man that they want to be with. So you have to ask yourself that question: Is this the man that I want to be with? All right, then I'm gonna do everything I need necessary to make sure that we are good. Even if that means that I have to pick up the slack a little bit, fine, sure. Every relationships are never 50-50. Marriages are never 50-50. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes it's 90-10.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, that's the deal that you made when you chose to get into this relationship with somebody. That sometimes I'm gonna have to pick up the slack for you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just part of the game.
Right.
But y'all, I don't know why people think that's a problem. Like, I don't want to be. I'm not your dad, or I'm not your mom. I don't need to take up no slack. Well, why? What do you mean?
No,
The fuck
I
do you
don't. Well, I get what you're saying. I get people have a problem of like putting in their portion of the work. I think I took that personally. My apologies. But I get what you're saying. There are some people who will get upset about their portion of the work and don't want to do it and not actively understand that that's a part of a relationship. So my
because they
apologies.
thinking they gonna get somebody that's gonna take care. Everybody wants to find somebody that's gonna give them exactly what to take care of without putting in work, and it requires work. Everything requires work, so
Hmm.
you have to put your side in too. You have to make sure the same way how you want me to make sure you good. You got to make sure I'm good. I had this conversation a couple times today, a couple times in my listen. I just said a couple times in my life. Okay, or that I'm talking to somebody and we having conversations about stuff, but then it's not reciprocated. So now all of a sudden I'm just like, well, I don't want to deal with you. Well, why are you doing X, Y, and Z, and why are you acting like that? I'm like, because you don't reciprocate, ma'am or sir, about anything, friendships, relationships, anything. I'm like, bro, y'all don't reciprocate. It's always something different. So I'm like, all right, well then I'm not finna go out my way. Like, why am I doing that?
Right. Makes sense. That's why most people don't really follow through with treat others how they want to be treated. But it
Say
looks
again?
like I was saying that is the end of our episode because we only got 3 minutes. So thank you guys for watching this lovely video. This is Mocha signing out, and this is
Hello, gang. Hello in the building. Hey, music coming soon. Just letting y'all know that now. I don't know
we.
when, but it's coming.
It's coming up soon. He doesn't have it. Gotta stay tuned.
Been
You
in some
might want to
crappy
follow
crap
us
areas
down
and doing some crappy
below.
crap stuff, but something might come. Who knows? I need to go
It's
back
gonna
doing
be
what I
down
love.
below. Stay tuned to Z Hano's music and stay tuned to Dietype Radio on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Twitch. We see you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah.